Hello, the game has started. It's my opponent to go first. I've got a balanced rack with no duplicates, but my tiles are not particularly bingo-y. I can't see a 7 and I've just got the 4 floaters to consider. Can't see anything with the H or the Y. I feel there may be 1 or 2 8s with this rack, it's possible. Can't see anything with the P or the E. So, how to sort the rack out? My F can go in front of the Y. So I could play foul for 43, which is a pretty good score. Slightly vowel-heavy rack leave. But I think I'll go with this, and the WE does set up my M for WEM. Slightly more bingo-y. But I don't think there's going to be one here, it's vowel-heavy. However, I should be able to leave a decent rack leave. Phi takes nothing in front or after it, and hype takes nothing in front, so the opening move's shutting the board down somewhat. Wow, great bingo from my opponent, 73 points. Puts him into a 50-point lead. Just looking at the newly created floaters to see if any of them give me a bingo, but I don't think they do. So I can play Maid for 51, which is a decent score. Pretty awful rack leave, but I don't think I can do any better than this. Okay, that could have been a lot worse. Through an R, I would have tutorize. No R available. I think it's just the D of Maid and the H of hype, neither of which assist. And there are a few double letter sets to consider, but none of them are suggesting a bingo to me with this rack. So I'm looking to play off the Z and score. I'm only 3 points behind, but my opponent's on turn. My Z can go in front of ED. So I have toes in column 7, keeping the U, but I don't think I'm going to be able to completely sort this rack out unless my opponent provides a floater which I can bingo through. I have Mazout from MA for over 30 points. I've got the out prefix, but I'm not seeing any 7 or 8s with that prefix. We takes A, S and T in front, so there is a bingo lane in column 6, which is slightly disguised. And that could also begin in front of ops. So opponent on 17 minutes, I'm on 18. Now YE takes a Z after it. So I may have a play in column 10. At takes a T and an E. Okay, I'm not seeing anything there. Ed takes an H after it, so that's quite a hot spot. I can't see a way of getting my Z tripled using the H of hype. So, opponent taking a while with his move. He could be on the brink of a back-to-back bingo, which would put me quite a way behind. But he doesn't. He plays Dint, and he leaves alone my toes spot because ATT takes a T in front. Nothing my opponent's done has provided anything better for me. So toes for 41. Horrendous. 6 vowels. No scoring tiles at all. Do I have a play ending IZED? When you have only got 1 pointers, it's a good idea to look at the scoring tiles on the board. But I don't think I can see anything through the Z. This may actually be bad enough to justify changing. Although I do have Hutia beginning with the H of hype. Wow! Great bingo for my opponent, 71 points. There goes the first blank. So what do I do here? Well, I've got A2 down here, which sorts the rack out. 16 points. It's not a disastrous rack leave if I draw consonants. It's opening the board up. Opponent will almost certainly seek to take out the triple danger in row A, and in doing so he will be creating new bingo lanes. I don't see a way of playing off more vowels. Let me just pause because this is the first move I've seen. There could be a better one. I can't see a way of playing A2 anywhere lower. Weeds takes nothing after it. I don't see anything great beginning with the E. Okay, I'm going back with this. So A2 for 16. Okay, I have drawn 4 consonants, which is great. What I don't have is a bingo with this rack. I would have a begging through a G. Still 1 G to come. And beagling through an L. But at the moment, the only floater is the A of A2. And I don't have anything through that. Again, I'm looking at plays ending ZED. So, well, I think I may have begazed, but that doesn't get doubled. Tat doesn't take anything after it that I have. I think it's just an S and a Y. So opponent 40 points in the lead and on turn. A2 has created 2 bingo lanes, row A plus column 13. So it's a good play in terms of keeping the board open, which is what I want. Row O, not a bingo lane, just 6 spaces in front of ED. Do I have a play ending ED? Well, not that I can see. Row C available for plays using ST. For example, words ending IEST, which doesn't work for me. I've got Benga in row A. I don't need to keep the triple open. I just need to make sure that if I'm taking out a bingo lane, I'm also creating a new one. Still an X to come, so row H quite hot for plays beginning EX. 47 tiles in the bag, so we're about halfway through the game. Great, only 24 points for my opponent, and he's created a new bingo lane. My G can go underneath the A, but I don't have a bingo ending ING or AGE, both of which would play. So, what to do here? I don't have anything which goes after ST or TAT. Let me see if begazed is good. I think it is. So that would leave me with ing. It would also create a floating E, which is good for bingos. And it would be providing a scoring spot in row O, which may distract my opponents. And I'm keeping ing, which, although it's overrated as an ending, this is a board in which an ing play can be made in row B. 22 points not great, but I haven't seen anything which scores more. Well, I'm just wondering about playing Beasting. 24 points. No, I don't think there's very much between those, and Beasting would invite an easy score in column 15. Just pausing in case I've got a bingo through ST ending sting. And I don't think I do. I'm going with begazed. Absolutely horrendous. Truly awful. I've drawn 2 I's, a duplicate N and a U. And I trail by about 50 points. So that's pretty disastrous. Is it sufficiently bad to change? I think it could well be. Great, opponent hasn't zoomed off. I'm still a bingo behind, but his play has really closed down all bingo lanes created by begazed. However, there are still at least 2 bingo lanes on the board in row B, column 13. So I'm going to change. So do I keep ing? I think I probably do. Given the opening in row B. Okay, well, I do draw the X. I would have Banks ring as a bingo through an N. But this isn't really a bingo-y rack. I may have Braxying through a Y. I'm not sure about that. So I was just going to mention that I had Xing in row H. That's been blocked. Although I do have extra. Nice bingo by my opponent. He uses the second blank and he moves into a 140-point lead. So he's in a very strong position. Extra scores 60 points. Creates a new bingo lane. Rack leave is okay. And I can't see anywhere super hot for the axe, although axe and zoo is available. Is that... I think column 10 is the only alternative X spot, and I need to burn the X to score and to bingo next turn. Still 28 tiles to come. So do I have a play in column 10 which uses a consonant and the X? I don't think so, and in any event, extra is going to score about the same number of points and create a bingo lane, and this floating A is quite helpful with this rack leave. I draw the J. I don't have a bingo. And opponent takes out my ing lane. So I need to play off the J and create a lane. And leave this, the column 15 lane alone. Via takes nothing in front. 12 minutes on my clock. 12 minutes on each of our clocks. Well, if I had an A, I could have played Jingal. I don't have anything in row O. Well, except I do. It's 30 points. It's retaining the J for score. I'm 100 points behind. It's not creating a new bingo lane. But I just wasn't seeing any alternative plays. So I need to hope that my opponent doesn't take out this A. Yeah, I think I do need to keep scoring. Blue for 31. Well, more horror. No bingo here. And I trail by 60 points. And I do have jarring through the A, but that takes out my only bingo lane. "19 tiles to come, including the Q and the U, but all the blanks have gone, all the S's have gone. And they've all gone to my opponent, which statistically is quite unlikely, but in practice happens far more often than you would expect based on statistics. And that's partly because if you've got those tiles, you're bingoing, so you're turning over more tiles, so you're more likely to draw the nice ones. And that can only be the explanation, I think. But certainly I have noticed it both on my own racks and my opponents that 4 S's and both blanks happen more commonly than pure stats would suggest. Now, opponent has left column 15 alone. He hasn't created a new bingo lane. He's provided a spot where I can play my J. No D's to come. So I can play Ginny. Horrendous rack lead, but I am preserving the bingo lane. A better play would be one which burns the J and creates a new bingo lane. I've got 10 minutes on my clock. So can I do that? Is there anywhere for my J? I guess a play onto the L would work, but I don't have one. What about playing jarring? Because the rack leave after Ginny is terrible. 16 points. I think I have to leave that A alone. And Ginny does actually invite a play underneath the J because there are 3 O's and an A out there, which would leave the A alone. But the counterpoint to that is that I'm gifting my opponent 30 or 40 points and then maybe scoring 50 or 60 myself through the A. Not a great trade when you're 80 points behind. But I'm not seeing anything better. Just can't see any other way of playing the J, and I see no point in hanging on to it. I think my slender route to victory is hoping that my opponent doesn't have any tiles to go under the J and that I get a J play and a bingo. Unlikely, but nothing is more likely or more winninger. I draw QU. So I have got quarter in column 15. It's not a bingo. 11 tiles left. I have nothing to go underneath the J. And I think at this point the game is lost. I'm 110 points behind. There are only 7 tiles in the bag. However, I do have a spot for quarter now. A different spot, preserving the column 15 bingo lane. And should I stop there? Almost certainly, I think. because column 2 is now a bingo lane next to the T, and I've got an E for making quart in row H. Wow, and 30 points. Okay, 3 R's and 2 O's, not great. No bingo here. Opponent empties the bag. I can see what he's got on his rack. So I trail by 110 points. I don't have a bingo. And I've got a pretty unbalanced rack with no scoring tiles. So can my opponent go out in 1? I don't think so. So I need to go out in 2. Just wondering if I can stick my R, or one of my R's, on the end of quart, and I can. I can play for 25 points. Can I now go out with Gur? Gur is a word, but it doesn't play anywhere. I think the A is the main floater. So doesn't enable me to go out in 2. 6 minutes on my clock. Is there an alternative play? Quarter may be good, but that again leaves Gur. Rego is good. Gora isn't. I have Roger keeping Gore, which I think would give me an out in 2. And what about Grove? That would leave Raw. Okay, always a difficult position to be in when the game is absolutely lost and you're simply trying to minimise the losing score. What about a play through this R, making jog or jaw? So I could play Raw for 22. So do I have an out with GORR? No, I don't. 5 minutes on my clock. Can't see any ROG plays. Are there any alternative plays through the V? I considered Grove earlier. Not seeing anything. Well, I feel there must be an out in 2 here. 4 minutes on my clock. So what about playing error? Keeping GO for jog and go. And a go. So I can definitely go out in 2. This isn't providing a huge spot for my opponent. I could get a lot more points by playing it over here. And this provides nothing for my opponent because he doesn't have an E for making RE or an S for making errors. So error for 17. So the plays I've seen are jog and go for 16. And go, go, or for 14. Okay, 14 points for my opponent. I've got go here for 16. Is there anywhere better? 3 minutes on my clock. I don't think so. I'm going with this. And the final score, 344 to me, 433 to my opponent, a winning margin of 89 points, so well done to my opponent. Let's see what I missed. It was my opponent to go first. He plays hype, and I have foul for 43. Great start for my opponent, bingoing on his second move. And I have made for 51 to stay very close. But opponent has drawn this rack. Wow! And has dismantle through MA, making fouls very difficult to see. Plays dint. And I have toes for 41. Opponent does bingo this time, and I have 6 vowels. And I play A2 for 16, keeping A, E, I. Manaya at K8. Yep, that's pretty good for 16. I may have considered that. But the U is very non-bingo, so actually I prefer A2. Wow. Opponent did have a bingo with that rack and didn't see it. Plays Anopia. And look at this. There was a Z play which reached the double word square. Agonized. I played Begazed. Opponent now has a problematic rack. Plays View. And I think I change with this rack. H11 Ennui. Yeah, that's better than changing. Fantastic rack for my opponent. Another bingo for him. And I have extra for 60. So at this point, I trail by a bingo, but my opponent's on turn, and the bag not particularly bingo-y. Opponent plays Via. Jingal, D15. Well, the trouble with that is that it's taking out a bingo lane, so I played blue for 31. Opponent plays Hioi. And now jarring again, it takes out the bingo lane. As does Jurga, as do all these ones beginning 15. So I'd play Ginny at D5, and I still like that. Opponent plays Mako, and now I'm 110 points behind, and the game is beyond me. 7 tiles in the bag. So I play Quart. Opponent plays Green. And now I'm looking for an out in 2. I thought about but couldn't see an out in 2. Quarterer is good. And I went with Error. Opponent doesn't have an out, plays Korf. And I play Go for 16. Same score available elsewhere with Mango, so quite a few optimal plays through Man or An, or Man or Ma. And that was the end of the game. So pretty exciting stuff for my opponent mainly. I was always a bingo behind, but most of the game I wasn't more than a bingo behind, so I did have some hope, but the tiles didn't go my way, and I was unable to get back at my opponent at the end. But well done once again to him for a good game and for some good bingos and for winning. I hope you enjoyed watching that game, and I will see you next time.